making changes. Um, so I notice a lot of times, especially now we're getting to the end of the year and we're going to be in the new year. And a lot of times people, they make all these goals or they set to, that they're wanting to accomplish. And then you notice that you'll see a bunch of people in the gyms. You'll see, people. Most times I see women, I should say, we are always making that goal. We're going to lose that weight that we've had on our bodies for 10 plus years. And we did kids grown and everything like that. And we're still, the goal is I'm going to lose that weight finally this year. This is my year. That's what you hear. Or I'm going to get rich, or I'm going to start that business, and we'll start and everything. We'll start taking the action steps and things like that. But what typically happens is after, I won't even say a month. I'm just gonna say I'll give you 2-3 months after that first quarter. Most people again are back to the regular life that they ended the year with, and I don't say they give up on their goals, but they fail to continue the habit that they started. And what I've found is that people always start with a physical action. And when you start from the outside, typically like I said, you'll start the goal and you have every intention. You have in your hearts of hearts, you want to really accomplish this goal, but you'll go back to or revert back to the same old habits. And if you sit back and you really question, like, why do I do this? Why do we do this? It's because, we have programmed ourselves to act a certain way. We've programmed our minds. If it's a weight issue, you programmed your mind to be fat or overweight or unhealthy in some form. If it's a money issue, you've programmed over time, you and society and your environment has programmed your mind to think, scarcity, not enough money, living paycheck to paycheck. And I look at the third eye, or as we, is learning to say it's really your first eye because it's your God's eye, that it's like a recorder, and it records, every step. And what it does is, like, this is how I see it, like I said, you may or may not agree with this, but I know it's more to it with that first eye, but I see it as a recorder, and it's okay. If you've been eating McDonald's for the last 5 years, and that's, for it's going to revert back. It's like, this is what we know. And so that programming tends to go back to, even though you's like, okay, I'm going to go healthy, I'm going to do vegan and things like that. And you'll do it maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe for a month, maybe even for a couple of months. But then that programming that you've had for the last 5 years to eat McDonald's, you will eventually go back to it. And the reason why is because you don't change the part within. You don't start you don't start making that change within you. you try to, or what we tend to do, we try to make that, we do it on a physical level first instead of going in and changing on a more mental or spiritual level, you know. So we have to do that work. We have to go back, whatever that is for you. It could be journaling, it could be meditation, it could be prayer. It's all kind of tools out there that you can utilize to help you, to get to the root of the problem. And you could say, so if, just say, McDonald's again is that thing that keeps holding you from losing that 20 pounds or 30 pounds, or and a lot of times, and this is in America, I mean, it's more than that, but if you've been eating McDonald's and this is the thing that's been holding you back, but for whatever reason you just can't let that go, it's because you have to go inside of yourself and you have to start going deep to find the root of the cause. Okay? You can't just, I'm just going to start eating healthy and think that you're just going to change 5 years of programming by eating vegan for a week. It's a process. And I believe a lot of us are out here trying to figure that out. But, it's a process. It's a daily process. It's not something you can do, like I said, for a couple of days or for a week. But you have to you have to do inner work. You got to let the God part of you guide you to what the cause is, and you got to be open to receive those answers. You got to ask yourself. So like, if you're a meditator like myself, you have to go in and you have to ask those questions, and you have to say, or even journaling, awesome way of getting things out. It's like, why do I constantly eat McDonald's? Then something, a lot of times those deep rooted things that we have done for so long, it's like brushing our teeth, it always, so a lot of times those things go back to childhood or some form of trauma, or sometimes, like, again, social programming, or our parents or environment that we were in program us to be, we tend to take on somebody else's story. Whether it be your parents, whether it be your friends and your family, and we take on that program, and then the next thing you know, you're a compulsive eater, or you are a compulsive smoker, or you're just doing things that are not, and again, they're a diseasement to your physical self. But not only physically, but it's a mental thing and it's a spiritual thing. And it doesn't align to your true identity. So, what comes to me right now is like, when you are doing something you really want to change, and you're doing something opposite of what what you wanting. Like, again, I like to lose weight because that's most of women's thing, weight loss, relationships, things like that. When you are overeating and you really want to be healthy, you really want to look good when you go out, you don't want to be trying to fit 50 pounds, extra pounds in a size 12, you really want to fit those that size 12 or that size 10, that is because you are going against yourself. You're not in full alignment of yourself. And it really just takes you to go inside of you and just dig a little bit. You don't have to force it. You don't ever force it. Because sometimes certain things you're just not ready to face. But little by little, when you start chipping at that and chipping at it, and you start saying, oh man, but man, then more things starts coming up, and you start seeing over time, and then until you finally get to, oh my God, this goes all the way back to childhood. This is how I used to see my mom, always do this and this. She didn't take care of her body, and even now today she's dealing with high blood pressure and diabetes, and was told to me, as we all hear, especially if you are African American, because if your father or mama has it, then you gonna get it too. And it's like, so we take in and we take on all that, and then we become a product of that program. We become a product of our social programming, of our environmental programming, of our family programming, and not to say that all things that we're programmed to be is a bad thing, because it's not. But there's certain things that takes us against who we truly are. What are, or against our true purpose, our true nature. We're not meant to be here in this physical world. Yes, we're here to learn, but we're not here to suffer. And a lot of times what I see, and I've been here myself, I see a lot of people suffering because they don't know how, or they just don't know they just don't know how to change. They don't even know where to start a lot of times. So I'm here to encourage you that it can be done. It is a process. I can't tell you how long your process will be, but just know that whatever the length of time it is, whatever challenges may come up in throughout that process of evolving and becoming your best self, it is well worth it. You are worth it. I had a mother, she's very loving and things like that. But sometimes you need someone outside of your family, because even they have that programming. And sometimes they're worse, because we are, at least, with our generations and these new, that are coming up, and my generation, we are privileged to have all this information coming at us so fast that we can get the knowledge, where our parents or our grandparents was a little harder. It was a little different in those times. So sometimes you need someone outside of your family, because it's hard for them to help you when they have the same programming, and they've been doing it for even longer if they're older than you, So, but I'm here to say it is so worth going through that process. When I was a little younger, and man, people would tell me, hey, you should do this. You need to sit down and you need to do that. I'm a Sagittarius. I don't like to always be moving and like to no. Easy for you to say, I see it this way and I'm going to do my thing. But I wish sometimes, that I had just taken heed to those little bits of wisdom, because I know that had I sometimes just slow down a bit and just sometimes listen, I would be a lot further in life, So I'm here to help those to not make the same mistakes that I did. And even if you are, I want to, help you come from, like I said, assist you. I can't do the work for you. This is something this is a personal thing, but I'm here to assist you the best way I can, and share my story and share the knowledge that are coming, or the wisdom that is being provided to me. Yeah, so I just want to say that I wanted to talk a little bit about that.